On this segment of the channel, I do an in-depth analysis of one ASX listed microcap stock, which I think is healthy and has a good potential for growth. I do a breakdown of the potentials, and I provide a clear rationale for my assumption. Last week, I did an analysis of the ASX cannabinoid segment, and I focused on the company called Emerald Clinics, or Emiria. I'm glad to say between that period, within the last 1 week, that stock has actually seen about 38% growth in their price. And I would ask you to please kindly watch that video if you haven't done that yet. And also, please kindly subscribe to my channel. The company that we will be talking about this week is Spacetalk. Spacetalk operates in the edutech segment of the Australian Stock Exchange. Spacetalk was founded about 2 decades ago, and they've been listed on the Australian Stock Exchange for as long as 20 years, I suppose. And over that period, they've been relatively stable. The stock price have been relatively stable, and their performance have been actually relatively steady. But in recent time, as you may know, they have recently gained more popularity through the introduction of their hardware device, which is the Spacetalk device for kids. It is an all-in-one smartwatch, GPS, and a smartphone that that parents can use to monitor their kids when they are in school. And it's been of critical acclaim and very, very successful. But apart from this, they actually started out as a school communication software provider. They were initially known as MGM Wireless, and the MGM Wireless was very successful as well. They have a very good track record of being used in over 1,400 schools. They widely used in Australia, used by about 1.7 million parents, and they are the favored or widely used provider in New Zealand. They've also had trials in the UK and India as well. So we will do. That's just an overview. So on this analysis that I do, I like to do the analysis in 4 stages. I provide an overview of the company that I'm talking about. I do a technical breakdown of their stock and its performance. I analyze its future trend, and I make a kind of projection or commentary as to what I would like to see in the future of the company. So now we've done an overview of Spacetalk, and then we'll move to the technical aspect of things. The stock price of or the share price of Spacetalk has been relatively stable for a microcap company over the last 2 decades that they've been listed, but they've really seen good growth in their share price between 2018 and 2020, and this is directly linked to the development of their hardware device. I'll get more into details as regards to that. So overall, their market capitalization is about $28 million. So it's definitely a microcap company. They've had a steady revenue growth between 2017 and 2020. They went up from a revenue of 2.6 million in 2017 to about $10 million in 2020, and this is really tethered to their Spacetalk device as well, and the app that operates with it. So the growth in revenue has really reflected in their share price as well. They traded for a low of about 6 cents in 2018, and it grew steadily to about 50 cents in 2019. But of course, they were really impacted by the COVID-19 crisis. Their shares went to a all-time low of about 7 cents in recent time in March 2020. But they've seen a lot of recovery since that time, and their stock last traded for about 17 cents this last Friday. So in general, this seems to be having a healthy recovery, and obviously, from what we've seen from our experience on with the COVID-19 pandemic, obviously this is a market space that would definitely recover and will see witness some growth, because as we all understand, globally, we've seen that we really could not, many countries could not really migrate, the education space to 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 the virtual, uh, you know, technological side of things, as we see with many other aspects of our life. A lot of workplaces were able to successfully transition to working virtually, but the virtual or online school system has not really been very successful in many countries. Students still need that physical space, and a lot of countries are really clamoring and working hard towards reopening schools safely, and that's probably one of the priorities in America at the moment. Um, and this is, obviously United States is a very huge market, and space talk has a little bit of footprint in in the US as well. So in terms of the revenue, they recorded a revenue of $10.1 million in June 2020, and this was a record growth. They went from $7 million in 2019 to 10 million, just over $10 million in 2020. And looking at the breakdown of their of the revenue, looking at all the different segments, the different products they have, and what they made from each product. It's pretty clear that they make most of their revenue from their device, which is a Spacetalk device. Um, they had an increase, a 53% increase in the revenue from that product, and a total of $6.4 million of revenue from the sales of the device alone. Um, Similarly, they have the app called All My Tribe app, which goes with the device, with the Space Talk device for children. Um, the app is where parents can put in the phone numbers and details of the people they want their children to be able to contact in terms of when they have an emergency or when they want to speak to someone. So and it's also linked to their school softwares as well. So the All My Tribe app had a 180% increase in revenue, which is pretty significant, and they had a revenue of a total of $1.2 million from the All My Tribe app. Similarly, their MGM um, school wireless school solution, which I is what they actually initially started with. It's a school communication solution, as I mentioned earlier, and that's it's pretty much been widely used in several schools in Australia and in New Zealand for a number of years. But it's pretty exciting that they still are able to achieve some revenue growth in terms of and they're signing new contracts in terms of the use of this software solution. So they had a 25% revenue, increase in the school software solution, and they had a total of $2.7 million in revenue from that product. So in terms of future trend analysis, a few things that I would like to see in this company. They do have a good potential, but it'll be pretty interesting if they are able to diversify their revenue a little bit more. They actually have a new product in the pipeline that that they've recently announced. It would also be good to see if the revenue can spread out a little bit more evenly, because as of now it looks like most of their revenue comes from the Space Talk device, and there might be some level of competition in that space as time goes on. But of course, they have the early mover advantage, because this is a very unique product that perhaps they are one of the few according to the CEO. They are one of the few, company that have introduced that kind of product. And obviously, I know of Spacetalk, but I'm not aware of any other competitor which with that level of name recognition or brand name for that product. So they have the early mover advantage for that device. But it would also be interesting. The second thing I would like to see in terms of the future, it will be interesting to see if how they recover from the pandemic. Obviously, schools are trying to reopen in most countries, and they have a food. Of course, this school uh, functioning in Australia has not been really, too severely impacted. But in other countries where they have their footprint or where they're trying to expand to, like the UK, obviously schools have been, highly impacted. I would be interesting to see if they can increase revenues in those jurisdiction or in those, you know, markets as things, as the pandemic starts to slow down and things the economy starts to improve and things start to open up a bit more. Another aspect that I would like to see is, if this company can really expand to new markets and what's the competition like for them in the US, and to see if they can actually, grow in other jurisdictions as they have, successfully um, done in New Zealand and Australia. And one final thing is, the ability to launch new hardware that are going to be massively successful. Obviously, their Space Talk device has been very successful, and it will be interesting to see if they can come up with, newer product, and if they can manage, the other product they have in their pipeline and have, good success from it as well. And so it's a very interesting one to watch, and definitely want to keep on your watch list. And as you know, the goal of this weekly show, microcap analysis or stock analysis, is to, provide you with suggestion of healthy companies that you should consider putting on your watch list. And this is just what, this is just a start. There's still so much involved in terms of investment, and we certainly are not providing investment advice, and that's not what we're trying to do here. But these are suggestions that could really help in identifying healthy microcap stock that you could consider investing in down the track, based on your own research and your own judgment. So, this is the end of the segment for this week. Please kindly subscribe on my channel. I'll really appreciate your support, by continuing to watch my channel. And once you subscribe, you'll be able to get notifications of more of my videos as I make them weekly. Thanks for watching.